Hello, and welcome back to the Umineko Bookclub of the When We Cry... Alright, well, off to a great start. Hello, and welcome to the When We Cry Umineko Bookclub podcast.
Yo!
Okay, cool. Alright, I'm your host, Lorenzo, joined by...
The great equalizer, Des, and also...
Kia ora, I'm Horsefry.
I'm Kyle, your friendly neighborhood cryptid. I can never say it correctly.
I'm Lurf. Oh, it's a me, Mushroom. Oh my god. Ah.
And I'm Pokey.
Woo, we made it! We have a very, very full house today joining us for this next section of our book club. But, we're gonna have a great time. How's everybody? What's going on?
What's going on? Okay, so since the last decade, which was when we recorded the last episode, let's see, what am I thinking that? You know, I just yesterday I finished my last internship, so now I'm basically a free man. I almost have my degree. Yeah,
Nice.
Awesome.
in 2 months I'll be free. I know I had something important. Oh! In the meantime, since the last episode, fucking the last wave of DLC for Xenoblade 3 has come out, which was the epilogue of the last piece of story in this Xenoblade series that was supposed to like finish the Claus saga.
No, Xenosaga is different.
I'm not gonna get into plot stuff, but like radio, am I right?
Video killed the radio star.
True, and it also killed the Xenoblade X fans while satisfying the Saga fans. God fucking damn it. Anyway, the release of this new piece of Xenoblade game has gifted us with yet another round of the famous game that everybody loves, Xenoblade 3. No, the game is actually called "Is This a Real British Expression or Something the Localization Team Came Up With for Xenoblade?" which has snowballed into a tweet from Nintendo UK confirming that "I'm feeling full of beans" is in fact a real British expression. Thank you very
This is why
much.
British people aren't real. They can't hurt you. The British,
I'm feeling full of beans.
the British is the concept that Xenoblade created just to, you know, make you feel alienated by the human man.
I will never recover from when they just keep calling a geyser a Giza in Xenoblade 1.
Xenoblade is funny. So anyway, what's the other people been doing?
Well, I want to say since the last book club, but I guess spoilers, that wasn't actually a book club. That was our April Fool's joke.
Oh,
And I actually don't think I've done a book club before this.
Is this your first
I think
book
I showed
club?
up for one and it got cancelled. So this is actually my first book club.
Wait, no, yeah, we did a book club together. We talked about water.
we almost did a book club together. We sat around and chatted afterwards.
Oh, wait. Oh, you're fucking
Yeah.
right. Oh, my goodness. Wait, that's right. Oh, my goodness. Well, welcome to your very, very first book club.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be here. Very excited. Yeah, I mean, what have I done?
what have I done?
I've been playing a bit of Morrowind. I guess the most interesting thing I've done is watch Haruhi with Kyle and Lurf. That was fun.
Oh, that's fun.
Yo, imagine you just come back into the server like every day, and then there's just like 4 people in the voice chat watching all of Haruhi in one second.
This is very impressive.
Okay.
We started at 4 and we ended at 8.
Wait, did you just watch it the same day? Like,
Yes!
Yeah.
I was watching the Endless 8 while I got a tire changed.
For me, New Zealand time, we started like 4 p.m. and like it was like 10 p.m. No, I must have started at noon, and then by 10 p.m. I was ready to go to bed, and these guys were still going. Like,
the fun never stops.
and it was like 4 a.m. at the time.
This is the worst fucking influence in this server right
Yeah.
now. Lurf and Kyle, I think.
It started with me.
You were patient zero.
I shared a picture of my Haruhi light novels with like 500 sticky notes in them.
Yeah, Lurf was patient zero.
Yeah, then I just started streaming the Adventures of Mikuro Asahina, and it was over from there. We kept going until we finished. Except Horsefly left a little early, but we came back around later. I also managed to corrupt Kyle and got him to buy the light novels.
I have all the light novels.
Before we even started Disappearance.
Oh, Disappearance is the best Christmas movie of all time.
It's the best fucking movie of all time, period, in my opinion.
It's really good.
It's really good. The only thing that holds Disappearance back is that you have to watch all of Haruhi for it to hit.
I actually watched Disappearance without watching any Haruhi when I first, because I don't know what happened to me. I was just like, oh, it's a movie, and then I watched the whole thing, and I was like, wow, this was amazing. Time to watch the whole series that actually attaches with this, that gives me any amount of context with this ZML.
I can't imagine what it must be like to watch Disappearance with no context.
I mean, almost like watching the series in broadcast order, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because broadcast order is perfectly crafted.
You're treading on thin ice.
Broadcast order eventually explains it to you. Disappearance happens, and like Haruhi throws a Christmas party, and then Kyon's in a different world. And he's like, Haruhi, didn't the world revolve around you? Didn't you have this power? And it's never elaborated.
And then it's like, maybe the real Christmas is the friends we made along the way, and not the friends in this world. I don't know. It's such a good Christmas movie. I don't know what to say.
Because like you watch, you don't have attachment to the other versions of the characters when you watch the movie. So how do you feel for Kyo?
Didn't the movie came out first before any of the
No, it came out in 2011, and then the first season of the anime was 2006, second season was 2009.
Oh, that's crazy. I don't know what I was cooking then.
It was actually supposed to be in season 2, and because it was too long to fit in season 2, that's why we have the Endless 8. And I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, because I imagine Disappearance would have made like a baller season finale.
Nah, a production of a movie production is good. Oh, sorry. Lorenzo, what have you been doing? What board game have you been playing?
Oh, I've been playing a lot. Thanks for asking, I guess. Where do I even start? Well, I've been playing a lot of Gloomhaven. If any of y'all heard of it, it's one of the top nerdy board game stuff. It might as well be a video game. It's very complicated, but we're making headway in it. It's basically a campaign game where you play over and over again, like like D&D or whatever. But
that's crazy.
I recently retired my second character, which takes a really long time. So there's that.
It takes a long time to retire a character.
Yeah. So basically, the way it works is it's a scenario game. So you play scenarios, and you have individual characters. You play scenarios, and your characters have personal quests that slowly get fulfilled as you play the game. But because each scenario takes up to 4 hours, even maybe 3 or 4 hours, it takes a really long time to retire a character, achieve their personal goal. And I managed to do it twice after playing for a little over a year.
So it's like Octopath Traveler, but good? Question mark?
Speaking about Octopath Traveler but good, have you played 2 yet or no?
No.
Okay.
It's Octopath Traveler 2, Octopath Traveler but good.
I heard it's Octopath Traveler but good, but I haven't bought it yet because, I'm too busy playing Genshin Impact.
Nice. How about Star Rail?
Oh my god, Star Rail!
you don't know what you just...
I activated her.
I was just talking to Des about this before the start of the a podcast recording, and I was like, damn, I just got Tears of the Kingdom, but what games I've been playing a lot of? Star Rail and Minecraft. Star Rail is Persona 5 but good. I have a lot of opinions about Persona 5.
No, Persona 5 sucks. Say whatever you want about it.
Is that the remake that comes after Royal?
Story's the only good part. That's why people who played it don't like it.
This is coming from a person who has 360 hours in Persona 5, so I get to call it. I get to call it bad because I've put in the hours.
You done your research?
Yeah, I've done my research.
This is a certified
I've come to
stinker.
the scientific conclusion. This game is bad.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that sucks.
Swat Mushroom, you were also saying you actually already graduated, or
Yeah.
are you,
Yeah.
in the
So
process of...
Technically
congrats.
speaking, I think graduation happened yesterday, my graduation. But I was like, no, I'm not going to go to my own commencement because that's stupid and a cuck move to do. Instead, I'm staying home and not like standing with a bunch of people. So I end up like
What? So you didn't celebrate your graduation?
No, I had a party. I just
Nice.
I didn't go to like stand in line in an ugly robe to take a picture with our school president or something.
Oh, what the fuck? Okay. That's what you do?
Yeah. Like in America, you like stand in line and you go like shake this dude's hand, and they're like, "Thank you for being here." And
Is
you're
that
"Who the
like the thing you see in movies where they call each student one by one?
Yes, legit. Like
Okay.
that's a real human thing that they do, and it's even stupider in person than you see it than in movies.
Okay.
And it's like a huge waste of your time because you can't leave, and then you like just have to sit there, and they don't have pockets, so then you don't know where to put your phone. And every single person I knew brought a Switch to their graduation, so they were sitting there playing Tears of the Kingdom while waiting for other people. Like, I'm not joking.
good.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so like, okay.
Your
I go
graduation
to-
was Teokide.
Yeah.
Teokide.
So the thing is, it's like everybody went to like Tears of the Kingdom like midnight release, and I went in and I just like it literally was just like everybody I knew from college, like every single person was just there.
Nice.
Like there was like at least like 60 people there, like outside of the store at like 11 o'clock at night, and I was like, what the fuck, like get out of here, like what is happening? I just want to pick up my game. Like everybody's like, oh, congratulations on graduating, and I was like, what is this, like a fucking party out here? I was so mad. It's just like
But yeah, Mushroom, congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, congrats.
I feel like
You're done.
This,
Fucking
yeah, I feel
done.
like this podcast has just been with me this whole time. I was like throughout my college career. It's just the funniest thing it could have possibly been.
Yeah, no more having to deal with teachers. How does that feel?
Pretty exciting. I guess now I have to deal with like real world bosses, which is kind of scary, I guess.
Nah.
Defeated the mini boss that was college.
Yeah, exactly.
Now onto the bigger boss.
Oh, speaking of college, something really weird was going on in my college town like recently. It's a very relatively like safe town, but there was like a serial killer like just stabbing people.
Oh.
Like,
That's exciting.
and then they caught him, but like he got two people. Well, he killed two people, and then the third one got injured. But I was like, oh my god, nothing ever happens in this town besides the time a high schooler fed their classmates cookies made with their grandparents' ashes.
It's fucking metal.
Interesting.
I actually have a
Gotcha.
I have a great story about cookies made with human ashes.
What?
Oh, can we opt out?
No, nobody
we opt in? This
no
is-
human ingested the cookie this time, don't worry. So this is a story about my roommate who like did a summer program in our local museum, and in the local museum, like she worked for this guy who like who told her the story about how like during the summer and that they were like working together, his dad died, and his dad is from Ireland, but getting ashes or cremations on flights are really difficult. So what this guy did is he baked his dad into cornbread, ashes into
What?
cornbread. And then
No
brought
way.
it on the flight, and then just didn't eat it, of course, because it has his dad's ashes in it, and then spread it to the birds in Ireland.
That is actually kind of sweet. But
That's cute. Wait,
I mean, hey,
did his dad want that?
there's one way to scatter your ashes.
He was
Because
like, whatever you do, don't feed me to the birds.
but I was just like, he just didn't want
You
to
vultures.
go through like all of the problems with customs. I think it's just like he was just like, oh, that's so much work, so he just baked his dad's ashes into bread and then gave it to the birds.
That's really funny. What the
Why is it a
fuck?
problem to get ashes through customs?
I don't know. I feel like it's
I don't understand.
Bro.
everything requires paperwork, I guess.
It's like, no, I think you're gonna necromance this guy. I think you're gonna like do something evil with the ashes.
You can do that in your free time, but not on the plane.
My fucking god.
I mean, technically they're remains, but I don't know. Maybe people feel weird about that.
But the cornbread is fine.
Yeah, people will feel weird about it, but like that's their problem.
I know, right?
Who let them cook?
Why?
He really did. That's insane. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. I mean, thanks for sharing about the fact that some kid baked their grandparents' ashes and cookies.
Well, that's the other crazy thing. Like, they let the kid live, so they just like sent them off to the other, like the second high school. Like, they didn't vaporize them like on point. They were just like, you know what? That's okay. Just go to the other high school and like terrorize them.
Oh my god.
So I guess there is something in the water up where my school was, but I'm free.
How am I gonna follow up all this?
Even Beato is taking notes. Like, what the fuck?
I guess I should say that I think the last time I was on the podcast was the April Fool's one, which means that I didn't tell you guys that the April Fool's, like the evening before, I went out with a friend and we stuck googly eyes all over our dorm.
Oh,
Wow, everything everywhere all
so
at once.
good.
Yeah, so there's one still on top of the roof of the elevator, like you can just see it through like the glass part.
That's very good.
I'm very happy with that. There was a second one. I don't know where that one went.
Damn. Unaccounted for googly eyes. Fell on somebody's hoodie, probably.
That could happen. What else has happened is the play that I wrote, it was staged and performed at my college.
Oh, damn.
Ooh, congrats.
Awesome.
And I did sneak in a couple references, one of which was a character saying, like, the Erica line was like, a social interaction like this is trivial for a conversational expert like myself. What do you think, everyone? And then the very talented actress who played that character said, what do we think, everyone? And I was like cringing in the
Oh my god,
it's
no!
fine, it's fine.
You had one fucking job!
No, but it was seriously amazing, a great experience, and I'd love to work with the play in the future and actually like maybe have it staged again sometime.
That's great.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
thank you.
Oh.
And then I was sick for my finals week.
Oh.
Oh, shoot.
Being sick is bad.
Are you feeling well now?
Nope.
Okay, sorry for your loss.
Ask a simple question, get a simple answer.
I mean, personally, I've just been deep in finals hell. I've been busting out so much artwork, pulling all-nighters, and I've also been force feeding people Haruhi Suzuki. I also got a new friend of mine to agree to read Umineko.
Oh my god.
So
That's exciting.
I'm streaming that for him after we record.
In finals week.
Successful.
Oh, I also believe it or not, I've never Danganronpa in my life.
Oh no, you
until
Danganronpa!
this last week.
What?
So I finished the first Danganronpa, and I am in the midst of the second one. I had a few spoilers going in, but I'm mostly blind.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you, and also so terrified for you.
I thought Komaeda was overrated. I realize now he's just actually a genuinely really fascinating character.
No, right?
You're like, he's
I
weird.
was like, oh shit. I was like, I'm not gonna fall for Komaeda. I'm not gonna be as invested. Like he's everywhere. I doubt he's like actually lives up to the hype. And then I was like, well, fuck. I love Komaeda.
That's what they all say.
Yeah, I just finished in that portion where you get to play as him for a little bit, and then he starts acting like an asshole.
Oh, nice. The escape room?
Yeah, I haven't gotten to the trial of that case yet. I just know Komaeda's starting to act a bit like a dick, and I'm worried. So yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Welcome to the fandom, I guess. Just wait till you consume all the Danganronpa media and play V3.
I'm still trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do after Danganronpa 2. Something about Ultra Despair Girls, maybe the Danganronpa 3 anime, but also bad.
I will hook you up with all of the info.
I just didn't watch the anime.
No, don't listen to anyone who tells you it's bad. It's just weird, okay?
I'll watch it one day.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's my favorite game.
No. I meant the anime that's supposed to wrap up the story.
Oh, no, that's bad. Sorry. I thought you
I'll still watch it someday.
Well, you should just watch it anyways, because it's a very good talking point, you know?
I
Yes.
see.
Yeah, you know.
I'll figure it out.
You'll be popular with the kids if you get to say something bad about the anime.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Is it Umineko anime bad or?
Yeah, I never heard about it before.
Probably not.
It's good quality. I mean, like,
If it's better than that, I can tolerate it.
It's original, like, it's original content, so it can't be as bad as the Umineko anime. It can't adapt
Alright.
it wrong.
it's like candy.
But they can't destroy everything that came before.
It's like you're eating cookies that are filled with ashes, so you know it's not good for you.
How would I know that I'm eating cookie filled with ashes?
Well, you just
When you taste the ashes,
you realize it. You're like, huh, ashes, huh?
it's like, this is a pretty dusty filling. Oh no!
Damn. I see.
You bite into it and you get like you get like memory flashbacks from like the 50s. You're like, wait, what is that?
Are we like Divinity 2 elves or something?
I was thinking
Like-
the opposite. It's the kind of thing that you flash back to. It's like, oh, it's like that Danganronpa ashes cookie.
I hate that like could be a thing. I wouldn't be surprised if Monokuma came up and he's like, I made you all cookies. Here's your next motive. It was the ashes of your family.
There was a rumor that was a cut murder plotline. I'm pretty sure it's just a rumor, but that someone was gonna get eaten.
Isn't that supposed to be in two?
I wouldn't
I thought.
Be surprised.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's just a rumor.
I thought someone was gonna get eaten in the strawberry grape houses.
Yo, stop with the
Yeah.
spoilers.
But you can't eat robot.
I wanna play Danganronpa eventually.
Don't worry, I've said nothing of substance.
Yeah, they haven't.
Just like the games. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah, what the fuck? What context can you get from Strawberry and Grape House?
Listen, I went in like full spoilers. I knew who was behind the first game. I knew like what Komaida's deal was. I literally have been like so confused throughout this entire thing. I keep getting surprised. It goes places I was not expecting. I'm very confused right now.
My friend did expert gaslighting to guide me away from the truth of Danganronpa 1.
That's what I did.
Because I was like, huh, this is familiar. And then he's like, oh, well, here's a really good explanation on that I just pulled out of the ether. Like,
Funny story about that.
That's what I do for my friends in Umineko.
On my YouTube channel, there's a really bad Let's Play that is me and a friend, both of which before we came out to one another as being queer or having a different gender than we were assigned at birth. So it's just really awkward, and it's us like talking in bad microphone quality, and him just being like, ah, and all the deaths of his favorite characters, and me being like, wah.
right. I could not imagine replaying Danganronpa. I could imagine being there with a friend, but like, I would not want to replay Danganronpa.
That's me with showing people Umineko. I've played Umineko like 10 times.
Oh yeah, just before we go off the topic of Danganronpa, like I've also been watching my first Danganronpa because Marcy's been playing Danganronpa Another, which is like a fan game, but it is Danganronpa. So I guess like plug that. It's good. You should watch it.
I guess we have to make a Danganronpa episode now after talking about this for so much.
Danganronpa Secret Tea Party?
No.
Yes.
I'll join you. Let me finish Despair Girls in V3 first, and then I'll run in there.
Did anybody watch Milgram?
Yes.
It's like Danganronpa, but music. You'll like it.
Okay, we need to actually talk about Umineko at some
We
point.
actually have to talk about Umineko.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go quick.
This is wait, what? Who?
Wait, was Pokey done with what they were saying?
Oh, totally.
Okay. So this past week, I was like drowned in Haruhi with Lurf and Horsefly. But then after that, I went to Comic-Con and it was really fun.
Oh yeah.
And I got to go to my first Miku concert because I'm terminally Vocaloid
Oh,
TM.
that's so good.
Woo,
Yeah.
nice.
So anything else of note? I guess the fact that I just kind of went as the main guy from ReZero, and then
Subaru?
went to a Steak and Shake and like in the bathroom did a magical.
Why did you censor his name?
No, I just said the guy from ReZero. Yeah, the average viewer like might not have seen ReZero.
Okay,
so if I just say Natsuki Subaru,
Okay.
But then I went to a Steak and Shake bathroom and just did a full cosplay Magical Girl transformation into Trafalgar Law from One Piece.
That's very impressive.
And then after my friend had left, I just found people in the VC here and was just like, "Hey, I'm at Comic-Con."
And then we watched that.
And then we somehow got back into Haruhi. Yeah.
You watched Haruhi in Comic-Con, like on call with us.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck?
Yep. That was right before the Miku concert, actually. I think that's all that really happened to me, though.
Nice. Would you go back to the convention? Was it that good?
I went the first day, and then I went the second day, so yeah. And then I was gonna go the third day, but I got home and, like, got in my bed and then was, like, unable to move for 15 hours.
Understandable. That's the convention experience.
And so the third day I was like, I can stay home. There's only, like, one panel I want to see, and it closes at 5. Like, I'll just sit out.
It do be like that. But glad you had a good con experience.
Yeah, it was fun.
I have like some friends who like had a bad con experience due to like external factors not exactly relating to the con, and they're like, I'll never go again. But I'm like, okay, well, maybe next time don't date a crazy ex who's like gonna threaten to kill herself every day. So I'm like, okay, cool.
That does remind me of when I had a con experience with this friend that I mentioned when we played Danganronpa together. While we weren't done with Danganronpa 2, and there was spoilers at the freaking like cosplay meet where I knew there would be, but I was like, I'm like a high schooler, I'm like in tears, like it wasn't supposed to be like this. But it was a great experience and I had fun.
I mean, they're not going to know without context.
No, I want to talk real quick about a bad con experience. But
Yeah,
first,
do
about
it.
cosplay spoilers. I'm not done with One Piece, so going as Law was a horror movie, because my friend just kept guiding me around all the One Piece, like, cosplayers, because they were just like, nope, you have a scene with them, they're gonna try and bring it up, I already know it, because I just finished Whole Cake Island. Also, bad con experience, though, is that last year, I went to a con with 2 of my friends. Then some stuff happened, his car got towed, and like we got into a big fight over it, but we're all good now. I just hate the fact that it's like, yeah, not going back to that con, but Comic-Con's fine.
Nice. Yeah. Alrighty, we ready to talk about the book? I mean, the movie? The what? Haru Suzumiya?
The disappearance of the book club?
Alright, let's just dive into it because it's got some iconic moments. Chime in when you want to, but we are at the, the courthouse scene. Great Court of Illusions, they call it. So, Natsuhi's been like, they called a Among Us group meeting, and they're like, I think Natsuhi did it. So all the characters, all the pieces, and the witches, they all gather within the metaverse to discuss Natsuhi's guilt. And they're all going to point out exactly why she is the culprit who killed Hideyoshi and everybody else. So we have the witches, Erica, Battler, Beatrice, everybody from the islands, and all the other demons in this courthouse just being like, okay, well, Natsuhi did it, but the other side's going to be like, well, no, I think Natsuhi was not the culprit, right? And they go down, the witch's side, how do I explain
They're
it?
both the witch's side, like the defendant and the prosecutor. Like,
The prosecution, Erica's side, who wants to, like, get Natsuhi got, they have, like, a whole list of possibilities that could, like, exonerate Natsuhi, but they, like, go down each and every single point and saying, well, there are people in the guest house who couldn't have made it. There were people in the mansion who could have done it, or, like, only people in the mansion could have done the murder, including Natsuhi.
It's like such a bold and confident move to just present your opponent with all the counter arguments they could possibly have, and then just go down each one of them individually and explain why they don't work.
I like to imagine that, like, Erica just like threw out like dozens of papers that all had the itinerary for her attack, like, and just handed them out to all the audience members. And I think that's so funny.
She goes up to the camera whenever something's supposed to flash on screen and just covers it up with a piece of paper and then just takes it off.
Yeah. So she goes down like her entire list of like ways that would or she like strikes out all the possibilities that could like, you know, potentially suggest that Natsuhi's not the killer. And the Beatrice's side is just like, oh, you're just like explaining all this stuff just to like confuse us. You're not even starting from the beginning of the murders. But Erica goes insane. She's like, oh yeah, well, I was outside, I tape sealed everything with like my tape, I was in my swimsuit, it was storming, it was crazy,
You should have been there.
it was insane. And then even Battler's like, well, maybe I could have done it. And she's like, nope, I was listening to you all night and I listened to every single breath you took, so you couldn't have done it. So I think that's a good
Erika is like the most broken build that Bern has managed to concoct in this game, and Beto is like the devs struggling all weekend long after the midnight release, trying to nerf this absolute busted build that is like it's like absolutely destroying the game.
Day one release, Erica was pretty broken. She had infinite EX gauge, so she could keep using her special.
On that topic, I once made a divination wizard based off Erica, who had a 28 passive investigation and a 27 passive perception.
Which is crawling all over the mansion with in a swimsuit and then cutting open a trash bag.
Pretty much. They did not playtest this game board, goddammit.
They did not.
Shipping the game and finished.
Yeah.
What is this? Game Freak?
Battler's the DM who didn't like help at all with like character creation. Someone showed up with like a level 20 character sheet for their campaign.
They were like, I rolled a nat 20 on the.
I like the idea that Bern has to roll for all of her pieces, but because she's the Witch of Miracles, she has to keep doing it on and on for infinity until she gets the perfect character.
Yeah, yes, finally.
Bern went to
best build.
the perfect fragment where she got all max stats on her character before playing the game board.
No, I really love just the way that Erica, being the most unhinged character in fiction, is revealed of Beato just being like, well, if you say that you were watching Battler's sleeping face all night, then I guess I'd have to believe you. And then she's just like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
Just
it's kind of a gross feeling, even besides like all of the other creepy stuff.
Yeah.
And then like she calls Battler charming. It just sort of gets a weird vibe across.
This is where you realize Erika is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
She went around outside during a storm to tape all of the windows from the outside, and then just stayed up all night with her ear, what's the verb? Like not connected, like touching,
Like press
against
like,
the wall. Yeah, like all night, like breathing very lightly so that she could hear everything going on the other side of the room, like on the next room over. What a crazy character, man.
Yeah.
She did. She carried out every like what about they could ever possibly think of this mystery, and she's like, yeah, well, I did do that.
Erica is the most metagaming like player of all time, because this all happens before anything's happened.
Yeah.
There's no crime.
Right, yeah.
She's just doing this for fun. Like,
She's not doing it for fun. She knows it's gonna happen because wherever a detective goes,
right, because she's
something-
She's
metagaming.
metagaming.
Erica is that warlock that sits there going like, I'm not going to take a long rest, I'm going to take 8 short rests in sequence. And during each short rest, I'm going to cast a spell.
So she abuses her mod powers, and they eventually corner Natsuhi, right? And then Beatrice and like her entourage are like, no, we have to like defend. Or her demon entourage are like, we gotta bail Beatrice. Like, it's not looking good for Natsuhi. We'll just do better next time. And she's like, no, what about my pinky promise I had with her about her being like the rightful bearer of the one-winged eagle? But then I believe, is it Bern? She's just like, Natsuhi, you're trash. Even your husband's dead. You don't deserve any of this. Like, you just made all this stuff about Kinzo actually appreciating you in your head. And they just tear her to shreds. And that's also when Battler tries to step in, but Erica refutes and says that she was being crazy the entire night. And they
She was going
basically
up.
just they just finger Natsuhi and just tell her like, yeah, you're the culprit, you know, no two ways about it.
Yeah, and also I find it very interesting, and it really does a lot for Erika and Baron's character, the fact that both of them know their theories are they're just wrong. They're just plain wrong. Like, they know damn well Natsuhi isn't the culprit.
Right.
They're just doing this because it's like the funniest outcome.
This is the content. They're here for content.
Yeah.
They are here for content.
They're being a little silly.
Is it possible that Erica thinks that genuinely Natsu is the culprit? Because I know they mention in a line that
No.
Beato this time doesn't actually know who the culprit is, like a
Yeah,
human.
Beato
culprit.
doesn't know, but they do, because there's this whole bit of the discussion where they're discussing whether someone could have passed through like the entrance of the guest house or not, because
Right.
like Erika was there discussing shit with Goda, and then like supposedly if the detective is there, then her perception is like 20/20. Nothing can happen without her knowledge. Like nothing can happen without her knowing that something happened in a room that she was in. But then she's like, oh, but I was so engrossed in conversation that from this time to this time, someone could have swept through and killed them. Like, she's clearly saying that to make it so it is possible for Natsuhi to have sneaked past her and killed the people in the guest house. Because like she
true.
knows damn well nothing can happen without her knowing.
I think she doesn't know.
Right.
Erica doesn't know that Natsuhi isn't the culprit, but she knows that she isn't necessarily the culprit. She's directly framing.
I think Erica on the game board might think that Natsu is the culprit, but like meta Erica, no way. Valor literally comes down from like, well, I guess comes up from like the bleachers or whatever, and it's just like drops Virgilia's red truth that that's not the case. That Natsuhi is.
He tries to.
He tries to, and Bladder's like, no, you didn't get that yourself. I'm not listening to it. Nox is second. L plus ratio plus Nox is second plus sword through the chest.
Yeah, but how is that an argument for Erika not knowing?
Because
that,
no one second guesses the fact that it's like, what? Natsuhi really wasn't the culprit. They're just like, yeah, but like you can't use that against us. Like,
but then that's an argument towards Erika knowing Natsuhi.
On the meta level.
yeah, I think that meta Erica does know that Natsuhi is.
Oh, okay. I got your point.
At the very least, she doesn't
Also
care.
because Erica saw what we saw, I think, because she's a player. So she sees, like, the phone call from the man from 19 years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
So she knows, like, the trap. But it could be a fantasy scene, from her perspective. That might not have happened.
It could also be a motive for Natsuhi culprit.
I think I can make an argument for that she doesn't know that Natsuhi isn't the culprit, and I think the reason is because if there was someone else, like the whole thing that they've constructed is like, oops, I accidentally allowed someone to go up during the hours of 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, and the only person who happened to be around was Natsuhi. Like they've kind of made it so that a crime is still possible. But they've made it so that it was only possible one particular way, and the only particular way would be Natsuhi. And if Natsuhi wasn't the culprit, I think they'd be very confused, because that's exactly how they've constructed the whole thing. They'd be like, well, who did do it? And I think that would, like, kill Erika. Like, she'd just drive herself crazy, like, who actually did it?
But then you have like the fact that the Erika and Baron present all of these possible ways for the crime to have been committed for someone other than Natsuhi, and it like that list is exactly how they fool Beato into not thinking of the possibility that. Because like if you look at the I was gonna bring this up later, but I'll bring it up now. One of the sentences in the list is crossed out for a reason that shouldn't cross it out. Cause like, let me see if I can find it.
I think this is in the spoiler section. I think we need to cut this part.
Ah, shit, you're right.
No, I mean, I think we're like pretty close to like We basically did all of it, like the whole thing where Battler tries to chime in, but they're like, Nox's you can't violate any of the Nox's thing. L plus ratio
plus Nox's 8th plus Nox's 4th plus Nox's 2nd. Well, are we done with non-spoiler stuff? Does anyone have any more non-spoiler thoughts?
Yeah, because it's not a spoiler. It's just something that I really gotta gush about. Is this incredible setting where it's the cathedral itself, which is also sort of mixed with the theater. It's the kind of thing that I would love to see in a good anime adaptation, because everybody's everywhere at once, all the time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Clap, clap, clap.
They teleport around because nothing. Even Battler appears to be at the middle stage, but then sometimes in the balconies where Virgilia is. But then is sometimes out there objecting, and then everybody just teleports all over the place, and it's got a really surreal feeling that I just love.
I'm in shock that no one has made an objection dot wall of the scene, with sprite edits or something. In how many years since Umineko came out?
And you know what? Something that really bugged me more than I thought it would was Erica calling these people characters.
I mean, they are, though, for her.
Oh, the way they're, represented with wax models and stuff.
Yeah, and, she is obviously, an audience parallel to, somebody who obsesses over a mystery novel. And she's, it's weird because the worst thing in this story is to give up on thinking. But she's overthinking and being, not treating them like people. She is without love. And I think it really speaks to not me, but a section of the audience that is assuming the worst of every single person. It's almost I'd rather get it wrong, which I did when I first read it in Umineko, than to assume the worst of everyone. I trusted everyone way too much, and that's why I got it wrong. Not Erica.
Not Erica.
She got it wrong for the wrong reasons.
I actually have two non-spoiler thoughts I want to bring up. One, I think that it's really interesting how Beatrice is just introduced as the Endless Witch, because Battler found the gold.
Yeah.
Is what I assume it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Because every other time she's introduced as the Golden and Endless Witch, but here she's just introduced as Endless.
That's wonderful.
And also when Battler starts his attack against Lanner, that is just the equivalent of that one clip of someone boxing, but he isn't putting any force into his technique is the worst anyone's ever seen, and people are just constantly roasting him. That's what this is. But a lot of his arguments are very true to him. Maybe I did it. None of Natsuhi isn't the culprit. I'm the culprit. And what do you think about that? I watched you L plus ratio plus I watched you in your sleep. And everyone committed suicide. There's no culprit. A lot of these are very, very EP2 Battler lines.
That's true.
Yeah, shout out to Aunt Rosa came up the stairs holding a suitcase that held an entire person in it. That theory is small bombs tier.
That's not there. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I've got the screenshot.
Oh my god, that's amazing. That's my new favorite Umineko.
Right, posting the screenshot.
I have never heard of this.
What the fuck?
Oh my god, I thought
It's
they were just
real.
saying maybe it was someone disguised as Aunt Rosa. Oh my god.
That is that's an iconic thing for him to
I
say.
love Battler. He's so stupid.
I love how wait, that means it's also small bombs. Dwayne never denied that someone could have been in the suitcase.
Look at that face. That's a face of a man who just said the smartest point he could have possibly thought of at that moment.
How is Battler the smartest stupid person I've ever met?
Look, he's trying, okay?
Man does not believe in terms because he's never seen
Yeah,
them.
what was that line that people say? It's Umineko is the story about the smartest dumb woman and the dumbest smart the dumbest smart woman and the smartest dumb man who's arguing with each other.
It is true.
I love how Dread of the Grave is just the confidently incorrect.
So true.
But the other
is
thing I was
very
actually
true.
going to say about like these scenes is that like I feel like these scenes like write Natsuhi amazingly. Like as a person who just like doesn't give a shit about Natsuhi like at all, like EP5 is what sold me on Natsuhi. Like you're just like, damn, I feel so bad like for her.
We're
Like,
in the moment.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like,
I liked Natsuhi because of like, you know, her whole thing in episode 1. I thought she was great, but episode 5 made me like fucking fall in love with this woman.
Yeah,
I want her to marry me. I'd treat her better.
It's a pretty low bar, but yeah. Compared to us.
Yeah, she deserves more.
Also, apparently, Kinzo never like looked at her. Like, I don't understand how you could like be there for like 20-ish years and be like the head of the house never said hello or met your eyes. Like, man is just intentionally trying to disrespect her.
It's the same way you can go like 2 years without realizing your parents are covering up the death of your grandfather who's supposed to be living in the same house as you.
Fair, but like,
I thought you said pants.
he
for a
was
second.
alive at that point.
I have to say,
I'm saying it's genetic.
genetic.
Yeah, oh,
But,
okay.
I do have to say, like the thing about like Kingsul, like the more you read about it, it's like this man is like on the competitive level of like misogyny. Like, you know, everybody else is just like you like, you know, King, like you meet Kraus and you're like, this is a man who's into casual misogyny. You know, he might feel like he's a pro player, but he's not there yet. But Kingsley, that's a competitive misogyny man. He got all the misogyny done.
Kinzo plays on the World Cup.
Kinzo is top 10 in the world. He has 4 kids and he's still an incel. That's impressive.
Exactly.
Kraus wishes he was as much misogynist as his
He was
father.
a role model for George.
Oh no!
George is an inspiring misogynist, and the man thinks
He changes tactics, but that's because Kinzo exited his life like around the same time, where he becomes like this gentleman figure who's like, oh yes, women are queens.
yeah, exactly. I'm actually a simp. Like, you know, like I should be licking the floor that they walk on.
Speaking of Natsuhi, the other non-spoiler thing I want to bring up, the fucking OSTs that play in this whole part, like, it's just an all-star cast. You've got, especially for Natsuhi, you got Discolor. I love Discolor.
Oh, Discolor. That's what depression sounds like.
His color makes me emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've also got, like, Patchwork
this
Chimera.
part hits different.
You've got Smiler Soiree. You've got Deep Blue Gia comes up. Queener.
I love Deep Blue Jay.
Totem Bloom.
Technically speaking, all of the courtroom is one chapter. It is just a very long chapter.
Yeah.
Because the LP archive sections it into basically like hour-long chunks.
Well, yeah, it's very digestible this way because honestly speaking, like every time I think we talk about like any chapters, we keep talking about like they're like, how is this 5 chapters long, or like how is this long? And then you look at it and you're like, oh god, like do Kishi really? I don't know. Like this man must have been great at writing essays. Like I have zero idea how you wrote this many words. Like it's something that just baffles me.
No, I get it. I write too many words.
I also.
Ryukishi one day wrote an essay and used the phrase like a puppet without its strings and got really praised for that. And he's just stuck in his mind ever since.
He's literally like trying to escape it in this chapter. It's like Kinzo stands up and then falls down like a wax puppet with its strings cut.
I love the visual novel bingo, which is like take like, you know, your bingo board consists of, does your visual novel reference to Schrodinger's cat? Like talks about Alice in the Wonderland, and then talks about
Chess metaphors.
Chess
Puppets
metaphors
with their strings cut off. Sunset, like high school sunsets.
Yeah, high school
Freaking-
sunsets. Walking on the road home, like that kind of shit. Oh
You know
my God.
what kills me You know what kills me about Schrodinger's cat metaphors, right? Is like Erwin Schrödinger brought that up because he was like, if you take this interpretation of quantum mechanics, all this weird shit happens, like this cat that's both alive and dead. Isn't that ridiculous? Therefore, you should use my interpretation.
Yeah.
And that's the context of Schrodinger's cat. Like, it wasn't like,
What?
there's this
Really?
cool physical thing that happens, it's literally true. He's like, here's a thought experiment that gives us an absurd result, so you should use my interpretation instead. And then the people who used the other interpretation just were like, nah, it's cool, we like it. It's fine. Cats can be alive and dead.
We like the other interpretation. Actually, fuck him. What does he know? He's just Schrödinger.
Yeah.
Erwin Schrödinger is actually Battler.
Well, alternatively, you can use the brown tube analogy.
Brown tube.
Oh, can we talk about the Braun tube analogy? Because I know it's been a while since it was introduced, but it is such a cool thing.
It's basically the same as the...
It also came back up this chapter.
Isn't it the same as the cat box, though?
It is, but
It pretty much is.
It's Rikishi's play on the cat box, so he doesn't have to mention it 500 times, so he has like an alternate phrase to use.
If only he could learn that with puppets.
yeah, he can mention it 300 times, and the other 800 can be Braun tubes.
Yeah.
I like one of Umineko's biggest strengths for me is like its cohesive like wording. Like each phrase has a genealogy, I think is the word, where you can trace back that the it's all useless or it's no good at all came from Kinzo, and then eventually that came to Battler, and Battler also got the turn the chessboard around from Kyrie,
Or
and then he gets Braun
see
tubes
you
from
again.
Virgilia, and basically every catchphrase that every character has, you can trace back where they learned that from, and then it becomes
That's
really
so true.
interesting. Yeah, it's like a family
It's so
connection.
cute.
Yeah, Andrew's phrase, see you again, like, what's the thing that she says right before she jumps off?
It's
See you again. That came from Battler.
Yeah.
Have a nice dream.
Have a nice day.
Yeah.
See you in Heru.
I think Angie's whole speaking in English thing probably came from Battler. You know, the whole cringe lines
sure.
he
Definitely.
says.
She does it right after she's introduced to be like, did you know this is Battler's sister?
Yeah, I also think, like, that whole thing comes from the fact that, like, they watch Westerns. Like, I think, like, it's brought up the fact that the reason why they say, like, see you again, have a nice day, it comes from the fact that, like, Rudolph liked
watches
watching
Western
spaghetti
movies.
westerns, and like how that's
Yeah,
a phrase
damn.
that comes up, and that's why Battler says it. And then I don't know, it's so fucking crazy.
So cute.
And Rudolph's love of westerns came from Kinzo, who loves everything.
Holy shit, it all goes back to Kinzo.
Yeah!
Everything in Umineko goes back to Kinzo.
This story is the most cohesive story ever written.
Basically, that's why I love the Braun tube thing, is because it makes me think of how all these awesome like ways of thinking and catchphrases, they all like come from somewhere. And unlike the strings getting cut, that's only in the narration. And there's no end origin.
The strings getting cut is, you know, a nod to all the thousands of visual novels that came out.
Yeah, if your visual novel doesn't have that expression, they don't even allow you to post it on the MDB.
Moment.
Curses.
Curse.
My visual novels ruined them. He had it in.
Curses, it didn't get in. I'm so depressed, I feel like a puppet with its strings.
He's getting
That's it. I know the secret ingredient.
Chemical
The
X.
Krabby Patty's secret formula.
You get out the Krabby Patty's secret formula, and that's all it says, a puppet with its...
Rikishi wanted to write the perfect visual novel. He added mystery, he added magic, he added great characters, but then he accidentally added chemical a puppet with its strings cut, and thus Umineko was born.
Chemical X is actually Super Umineko Core.
Yeah.
It is!
Oh my God.
Unidentified Chemical X.
It is!
Battler's like, they used unidentified chemical X to make the bunny girls.
Oh my god. They're the Powerpuff Girls.
We get a fan-made tale where the Powerpuff Girls each have their own, like, special text
Yeah.
colors, and then they
Oh
come...
my
Oh no.
There just isn't a green truth.
Oh,
Yes, the
God.
green truth.
This is my green text. I don't know what it does.
Oh, the green truth is where...
Oh wait, remember,
Green truth, I guess...
where I'm an epic hacker.
Hacker, yes. Hacker voice.
Guys, do not play the Umineko project. The Green Truth is about Japanese things that people in English-speaking countries would not know about.
Is it really? Do they have that?
Yeah, it's a cute little thing they add where like
It's like translation
when like
notes.
Beato will say something like a duck with green onions, or when they're talking about like Japanese numbers and stuff, they'll add like a little like extra tip menu that's like separate. That's basically just like like explaining like the culture or what the reference is.
I think it's called the Grimoire.
Damn.
Yeah, they come on.
Yeah,
that's like the tip
Steins
menu.
Gate has one of those.
yeah, it's really handy.
It's not called a Grimoire in Steins Gate.
Okay, this is actually
Yeah.
a really random thing for people who actually read Steins Gate. Isn't Brom tubes also used in Steins Gate as a metaphor?
Totally. Well,
It's
Yep.
like Mr. Brown.
It's-
like is a character.
it's actually a part of the story because it deals with like a computer that's important to like the time continuum. And there's also a guy who, his nickname is
is
Mr.
Mr.
Braun
Braun.
because he sells computers or no TVs.
Yeah, I guess like it's so funny because I think like when I first read Umineko, I also always thought the Bron tube thing was supposed to be like, oh, is that like a nod to like Steins Gate? But I think it predates Steins Gate, so I don't know why it was like
Totally.
maybe.
I think Umineko and Steins Gate are like chronologically adjacent to each other. Like Steins Gate came out sometime during the release of Umineko.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I'm pulling that out of thin air.
I do have to say, I still think about the fact that somehow Fata Morgana man never read Umineko is still the most baffling thing to me till this day.
Speaking of Fata Morgana, let me just do a sidetrack here real quick. Anybody else watching Vinland Saga Season 2 here?
Not yet. Is it the most Fata Morgana pilled thing ever?
Like, why the fuck is the OST so Fata Morgana pilled? What the hell? Like the actual OST, not the opening and the ending. Like the actual music that plays during the episode.
No, yeah, you send me something, and I remember I would be like, yeah, that's the most like fucking. I was like, Vinland Saga Season 2 is very Fata Morgana pilled with the music.
Oh, you know what? Steins Gate was released in both limited and regular editions on October 15th, 2009. So
Okay. Didn't Umineko originally no
2011?
Umineko came out in
2009 or 2011?
When is Umineko come out? I just googled.
It's coming out next
It
year.
was released on December 31st, 2000. No, that's not right.
2011 was too late.
Yeah, that is also says alongside Golden Fantasia Cross, so I know it's not right.
It's
I do love the idea that he releases EP1 and also Golden Fantasia. Please do not play Golden Fantasia until you're halfway
Yeah.
through EP8.
2007.
2007. Is that EP1? That makes a lot of sense.
EP1 of Umineko. Yeah.
So then EP3, where the Braun tubes come up, would have come out in 2008.
Yeah.
So a year before Steins
Wow.
Gate.
Yeah.
Yo, another win.
Another dub for the Umineko.
We beat extremely common Umineko W.
Ladies and gentlemen.
We got him.
The When They Cry community claims the expression.
Over the actual technology of bronze.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, circling back to the OST, my OST point, because I just wanted to say also Solitary Deep Sea Fish this is the one place it plays. I'm pretty sure in the whole VN underrated soundtrack. I really like the one YouTube video that has it. It's the OST, but it also starts
so
with the thunder and lightning effect from the VN, and it fits so well.
Solitary Deep Sea Fish is what tipped me off to the weird OST names in Umineko. They're so bizarre. Like, Infant Queen Bee is named that way because when a queen bee is, like, born, it eats all the other larvae for the other queen bees. And I think it's, like,
What?
Avatriss's theme.
That makes sense.
Then where does Solitary Deep Sea Fish come from? What's the etymology
So
there?
I actually put this in the fan server once. It's actually referenced in Sumihoroboshi of Higurashi that when a deep sea fish shows up in shallow water,
explodes.
whether it's alone or together with other ones, it's always a bad omen because it shows an oncoming disaster like a tsunami or earthquake.
That would be
Damn.
Sumihoroshi.
Damn, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of them are just smile, like Deep Blue Jeer.
Yeah, because there's like the 3 OST names with types of colored smiles, and there's like a YouTube comment explaining everything, I think.
Yeah.
Is there a red one?
No, I can't. Not that I could think of top of my
no.
head. One of my favorite like Umineko piece that has a like really fun name is, and it's supposed to be, but it's without love, and it's the this is spoiler section. Are we at spoiler section yet?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't think we were in spoiler sections. We should go into spoiler section.
No.
Yeah, well, as Delanor said at the end of this section, the non-spoiler section is finished. Finished. So, if you don't have any non-spoiler thoughts, speak up, or for now, forever hold your peace.
I have one. I literally just the second unlocked a memory.
Do it, I dare you.
When I was reading Umineko, or just a little bit before, I was also reading a Korean manhwa called, I don't know if I'm saying that right, called Tower of God, and there's a character in that whose epithet is solitary deep sea fish. So, like, that was just another random thing that, like, I wasn't even, I was reading the manga, so, like, the OST was just, like, something I think I looked up because someone said it was really good for this part of the manga, and I was like, oh, solitary deep sea fish. Anyway.
Coolio. Well, if you have not read past this section, which at this point I don't think anyone has, but or like has not read past this section, we're going to talk about spoilers, so you better tune out, otherwise we're going to ruin the story for you. And with that, we're going to start talking about spoilers. Go nuts, everybody.
This is where we put the section where Des just says the bodies are not. Yeah.
It's fine. I'll just censor that specific phrase and I'll resume my thought here. So you want to finish your OST?
Yeah, I was gonna finish my OST thought because the funny thing about the Ravel the Boreal song is that the Boreal song plays in the Erica Pirate Hat section, so it sounds like a march because it's a very classic Ravel bolero piece where it's like the timpani that basically like holds the same beat, goes da 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 da, like for like the whole piece of 60 minutes, and I just think it's so cool that like because it's without love and it's now spells Boreal. And I don't know, it's even the musical, it's musically references to Ravel's like bolero.
You were saying something about the tempo of the music, I think. What was that about?
Yeah, no. The whole piece about the music is that like the tempo of the music is forever. It's like the same thing. It goes da 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 da.
Yeah.
But is that like an actual music thing, or were you just singing the song so we knew what song you were talking about?
No. Okay, so what I'm trying to describe to you is like, so the thing about Bolero, like Ravel's original piece, when he wrote it, it's a like basically it's like a timpani, like it's a timpani heavy piece in a way that the timpani is kind of a soloist in a way because it's holding the same beats over and over again, and it's relentless, and it's kind of in a way a weird march kind of vibe where like the piece of music gets passed around between sections and then everybody joins together and then a crescendos and it ends and that's it, like that's like it's the same thing over and over again, builds up and up and up and up, and then it crashes all down, if that makes any sense. So that's the original piece of Bolero. The cool thing about the piece in Umineko is that it has the same beat, but then it retains the same idea where basically the music gets like starts really like quiet, and then more music and like voices join in, and it goes like it's like a whole army showing up, you know, to come devour the Golden Land. Like that's the whole idea of the piece, and it's like, you know, the pirate Erica pirating all over, you know, Golden Land. Like, sometimes
on the topic of the Boreal and like having militaristic themes, and also, you know, that kind of thing. I believe it first plays in episode 7 when the submarine shows up.
It goes ping, and then I go ping again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's
the sonar.
It very specifically is tied to certain themes.
Interesting.
But yeah, sorry.
Nice.
Let's talk about actual this episode's things.
Okay, actually, this episode thing. Going back to my thing about like my point of how Erika does know that Natsuhi isn't the culprit. Like I was talking about the list that she and Baird made like and it really gives off the vibe that they made this specifically to guide Beato and Bator's thought away from the possibility that the bodies were killed later, because they say reds and then the reds scratch out each of the possibilities, right? And like there's this red that says that Bator didn't kill the victims between 3 a.m. and the time that the scream was heard, and this red is the one that crosses off the phrase that says that the crime couldn't have been committed after 3 a.m., which doesn't really make sense, because the crime could have still been committed after the scream was heard.
Yeah.
But then this... You understand what I mean? It's like they're guiding their opponent's thoughts away from the real answer.
So, I think... So, here's the thing. Erica says the wildest things without realizing it.
How so?
Like, for example, it's impossible to suspect anyone other than Natsuhi as the culprit. Yeah, it is. I wonder what that means. Like...
Huh? Wait, what's your
it's
point?
just right there.
What's your point?
The fact that there is no culprit is that if she just stopped attacking Natsuhi, she'd look like the other direction and be like, wait a minute, I didn't see the bodies. What if everyone's in on this? Like, but also, I don't think that Bern and Erica realize that there's a possibility the bodies are dead, aren't dead. Because the red truth about them not being moved after they were killed comes up in the tea party, I think. And Erica is just like shocked by that, and also gets like Portal 2 combo checked by it. Like,
yeah, and also Bern's red truth, where she's like these people are all dead. Like she puts in a non-red part where she's like, how could they possibly be alive with their throats cut like that? But that is not the actual reason that they're dead. Their throats, I'm pretty sure, are makeup at that point. Like they're not dead at the point that she's referring to.
The thing is,
But they don't need to be makeup.
They don't need to be. They just need to put...
Because Erica never saw them.
Yeah, like, I feel like the most they might have done is put, like, a little bit of blood, like, fake blood on the blanket. So, like, if Erica peeked in, it would be fine. But she was like, I don't need to check the bodies. I'm confident they're dead, because I'm the detective, and crimes happen where I go.
Oh,
I
man.
love how Erica course corrects so hard in EP6 on not checking the bodies.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's so funny to me.
She overcompensates.
I want to suggest a different possibility then, because Erika and Bern not knowing Natsuhi isn't the culprit doesn't really work, because of the whole thing about Erika being like, whoops, maybe I didn't realize someone sneaked past me, because she's the detective. That just straight up can't happen. So the idea I want to propose...
I think Erica's just incompetent.
No, she can't be, not during EP5.
I know.
I think Erica wanted to ensure that a crime did happen, so she gave a little opening for one person to be able to slip through, so she had a crime to solve, because if she was perfect in her observations, no crime would have happened, or, you know, like, it would have been too obvious, except the whole time she's like, no, it's way too obvious, and this is like a third-rate mystery, this is so disappointing.
But you know, like, it fucks me up so much that if she just did everything perfectly, if she didn't deliberately leave a way for there to be a culprit, she would, like, the crime probably still would have happened, because, like, Peace Battler doesn't know that they're still going to play dead, you know, like, and she'd be like, what? There's no possible way. And then she probably would have checked the bodies, and then she'd be like, oh, ketchup? Really? With just the sensitivity of my nose, this much is possible for Furudo Erica. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have to consider that Bern is controlling Erica, and I do, even if Erica is not aware of Natsuhi being the culprit early on, Bern Castell most likely is, or at least has the idea in her head, and I'm 99% sure she wants to frame Natsuhi and make Natsuhi suffer, because Battler was like, don't be mean to Natsuhi at the beginning of the episode after Bern Castell tried to crush her dreams by saying she was alone in the garden.
Ah, she's the worst. She's so petty. I love her. Like,
yeah, like Bern Castell is like, Natsuhi's alone in the garden right now, and Battler's like, hey, how about you shut the fuck up and stop being mean to Natsuhi? And Bern was like, I took that personally, and I played Erica in just the perfect way so that only Natsuhi could be suspected of this crime.
Okay, but it's not just Bern who wants that. because I'm pretty sure like Lambda has to be telling Byrne and therefore Erica where the crime's going to happen, because Erica spends all of her time focused on the guest room and like the cousin's room, when like there could have been, if you think about it from like she doesn't know, she'd probably be like, oh, maybe I should check out the mansion as well because there's a bunch of people there who could kill someone, but like she spends all of her efforts on that one place.
No,
I think, but the thing is with the mansion is Erica was in cahoots with Ava, who helped her duct tape seal people in the mansion, and she also duct tape sealed the rest of the whatchamacallit, the rest of the guest house. So the guest room is the only place, not the guest room, the cousin's room is the only place that was left unchecked, hence why she listened in all night to make sure that none of the cousins were the culprit. She didn't know the crime was going to be committed.
I do remember them duct taping the mansion. I still feel like a lot of these like duct tape seals, they kind of work because they're not broken, but they don't work if any of them are broken a lot of the time. Like if someone breaks the seal, it's like, well, I went out to go to the toilet and then I came back. Like if more than one is broken is what I'm saying. If a whole bunch of seals were broken in the mansion, like, and there was a murder there, Erica would be flat-footed. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but that also puts in question their alibi.
The thing is that it gives everyone but Natsuhi an alibi.
her trick is perfect if like less than two seals are broken, I guess. That's really interesting how fragile her trick really is.
Mm-hmm. But you know, like once seals are broken, then she just like the only like real problem that causes is now she has a lot more suspects that she has to suss out, which probably isn't like the biggest problem to her. It's just like a little extra work.
I think it actually ruins her entire argument if there's a second possibility, because this entire trial is just Hempel's Raven. There's 16 people on this island and Natsuhi, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure none of the other 16 people could have done the crime. So by default, it has to be Natsuhi.
That's true.
And that's Hempel's Raven.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So if like Goda breaks his seal or something, suddenly you can make a very compelling argument that it's Goda. And that means that you can't frame Natsuhi
It would be Goda too,
by
wouldn't
saying
it?
no one else could have done it, which is all she ever says.
That is true. That is true. She never checks the Natsuhi box, really.
I think Goda does break his seal, and she just makes a new one. Because she, like, seals the waiting room at, like, 1 a.m.,
Yeah.
and then, like, Goda comes out at, like,
Yeah.
2, and, like, has a conversation with them, and then, like, goes back at 3.
It's like, why was there duct tape on my door?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Hey, Erica, do you know why there was, like, this weird duct tape on my door? Why are you out here? Get back in! No! You're ruining my plans!
Get back in there.
Like, no, Erica's just finished putting the seal on, and then like Goda's like, "Oh, Erica, one more thing," and she's like, "No, don't make inside."
Just one more thing.
Even if you join us, that's only... I love the idea that Goda says that too.
Yeah.
There's so many implications behind Goda saying that line.
That would be insane. That like just an entire spin-off of Umineko comes from like Goda knowing that one thing.
I'm just in my brain imagining like a scenario, like the whole come to think of it, I've never actually seen Kinzo at all, and Goda being like, come to think of it, I've never seen Shannon and Cannon in the same place. Isn't that strange? You'd think I would see them more because they're siblings, but I guess not. Like, have you guys noticed like the entire conference? Like, whenever Shannon's around, I just can't find Cannon. That's so weird.
He's just having this realization in the background of a different scene.
Yeah.
Goda's entire point of the story is to spill the beans.
Goda's the funniest character in Umineko.
It happens in EP5, it happens in EP8. Goda is the most well-written character in Umineko.
He is the most funny normal character in Umineko. Erica's the funniest.
True. Speaking of the most well-written character in Umineko, do you guys think Peaceatrice, like... I get weird vibes from Peace Beatrice, or Peaceatrice, as I like to call her. If Peaceatrice was still part of Sayo, she would definitely, like, know what was going on in EP5, right?
No, because...
No, I think this is purely meta
No,
battle.
she's not part of Sayo.
She has no correlation to the real world.
Yeah, that's what I think, is that Peaceatrice, like... isn't Beatrice. Like, I know she's not Beatrice. She's just Peaceatrice.
Yeah, Peace Beato is specifically not Sayo's Beato. It's Natsuhi's like
interpretation of Beato,
played by Lambda Delta. However, what is interesting is that whole bit where, you know, like, Battler is fighting, like, Erica here, and, like, trying to prove Natsuhi isn't the culprit. It's like, no, like, I promised I would kill you. And then Peace Beato starts, like, crying and is like, I never will trust a promise from you again. But, like, the thing is, Pieces can't act without someone controlling them, which means Lambda Delta is like actively pushing for this via playing Peace Beato.
Lambda Delta is the shippers on dev. Like, you know, Lambda Delta knows.
I think so. Because like I think Lambda Delta does want Battler to, you know, figure it out, because one, that makes for a more interesting story, and she gets to beat Burn, which is what she wants to do. And she's like, I can't, this is gonna frustrate Burn so bad if I drop these hints and then Battler figures it out because I dropped some hints.
Because that's what Burn hates most, is for it to turn into like a soppy romance. And that's why she's just pushing the two of them together. Also, I do love that interpretation that Lambda's the one controlling Bea Piche, which is how I call Peace Bea. Bea Piche being controlled by Lambda the entire time is cool, but Pieces can act on their own. That's just what happens to Angie in episode 8.
Yeah, she doesn't...
Like with baby Angie.
They can't, like, do anything, like, out of character for them.
The thing is that in EP6, when, like, Battler is making... Pieces mess me up. Pieces screw with my head. Because it's like, is Battler sitting in a room, like, making the scripts for his entourage to talk to him in EP6? Like... Is that what's going on? I don't think so.
It's weird.
Like,
that's because you have two different concepts being called pieces, but they're actually different concepts. Because you have the game board pieces, they are just characters, like made for this specific game board, and then you have pieces in the meta world, which are just characters that Bern recruited from the future, or Bern made based on herself. It's like an actual character on the same level as them, which is different from a character that is restricted to the game board, that is under the influence of the game master.
That's a good analysis.
The best way to differentiate pieces on the game board and pieces in the meta world is meta world pieces are more like furniture. They're more like servants with their own will. Like Renove isn't a piece, he's furniture and a demon who can be played as a piece on the game board, but he doesn't, like, he has his own, like, will, like, outside of the game board, you know? Like, everyone...
Then, like, we have, like, the puppet Beatrice.
Yeah.
That, like, just mouths what Battler is saying, that's on the meta world, that doesn't act anything like Beatrice.
That's because Battler made that Beato as a piece, because we have Chick Beato, who's, like, the actual meta world Beato, who resembles the rules. Whereas Battler is just, like, you know, using his game master powers to, like, write his Beato bullying him fanfic to help him cope with the loss of his dead girlfriend, which is also kind of meant to mimic Toya in a way.
You know what complicates this even more is Sayo and Beato in this EP are like a lot more separate, I think, because Beato is trying to defend Natsuhi, right, in the trial, but like if you think about what Sayo is doing in the on the game board, like Sayo must be like they must be the like, I guess, culprit behind the idea of everyone faking their deaths to try and like push Natsuhi into a corner. So like the whole like and Ava probably as well, like probably all the adults are like kind of like laughing, thinking all the murders are fake, and like Sayo is like part of that kind of gang. So like Sayo and Beato are kind of on different sides of defending and accusing Natsuhi in this.
Not that doesn't happen all the time with like Beatrice and Shannon in EP2. Like,
but this time it's different because this Beato really isn't a part of Sayo.
But yeah, this Beato is explicitly here for Natsuhi.
Yeah, she's like just Natsuhi's perception of what Beatrice would be.
Yeah.
To put it as Burn would, her delusion, but like...
It's her emotional support, Beato.
Everybody needs one.
That's what I call the Beato plushie.
If we're done with Beato, I just wanted to relate back to the previous topic because we didn't actually finish it with a conclusive answer. And I also didn't finish my thought about fucking Erika and Bern, whether they know or not about Natsuhi being the actual culprit or not. But like the thing I was gonna say when I said I had a different suggestion for this was that maybe they didn't necessarily know that the answer was that the corpses had been killed later, since later in EP5, as you said, Erika will be like surprised to find about that fact. So maybe they don't know the corpses were actually only killed later, but they can still know that Natsuhi isn't the actual culprit. It's just that that's the only answer they can get to, so that's the answer they roll with. Either that or they find the answer really funny and stop thinking.
I think the main point is that Bern and Erika, maybe to a lesser extent, but also maybe to a more... Bern and Erika don't care who the culprit is. They just want to flaunt Erika's knowledge and like end this game board and shove it in Beatrice's face.
So I just had an interesting thought. That is that Gap and Renove had to have all of the red truth that they had in the Tea Party when they're working for Battler, like at this time, and so like Beatrice is just like sitting on the red truth that the bodies were not moved after they were killed.
Yeah.
And it's just not using it because, one, she doesn't want to like out herself, but two, friggin' one of the red truths is about Kinzo being dead, and she's not going to tell them that, even though they know. She's not going to tell them that because she's protecting the illusion Natsuhi's been making.
Wait, what makes you believe that Beato knows the corpses were like...
Because Gap and Renove already know.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean Beato knows, right?
That is tricky.
Here's the thing, is that Gap literally like just goes off on her own and like moves the bodies. So maybe Beatrice doesn't know that they weren't moved.
Oh.
No, because they discussed it with Beato.
I've got it. The people that we see in this scene are not Peace, Virgilia, Renove, and Gap. They're the actual Renove, Virgilia, and Gap. And that's why Virgilia knows the truth, is because she's viewing this from an outside perspective, whereas the Beatrice Peace, Beatrice, I'm messing it up every time, it's my own pun, is like, and all of her pieces just are part of Natsuhi's imagination in Lambda tells telling.
Yeah, because Peace Beato wouldn't know like the same truth that Gap, Renove, and Virgilia would have.
This is the most... How did Yui Kishi do this?
Wait, hold up. If Natsuhi has like a mental construct of like Gap and Renove, I'm just like, so what does this imply? Does this imply that like Maria just like
showed her
came up to Natsuhi one day, was like started talking about Saya's OCs? Yeah.
Look at these cool OCs my friend drew, and it's like borderline hentai.
I think that it's Lambda Delta concealing their identities. Like, it's not literally that. It's because, Natsuhi is working fantasy side right now because she has, like, Beato piece. And then, like, Renove shows up and he's like, oh, by the way, I'm Renove. Like, I'm with Beato. Like, I'm here to help you out as well. So she's, just using the servants and Nanjo to her advantage in helping her keep the illusion that Kinzo is dead around. And she's using Beato as a metaphor for her using said magic to hide Kinzo's corpse.
Yeah.
So what we're learning is that Natsuhi and Saya are actually the same person. And that they see the same people, the same in fantasy interpretations of them.
They have more in common than you might think.
Like mother, like child.
Like mother, like child. Or no.
Oh my
No.
I think Natsuhi, like the Beato Natsuhi scenes, like Natsuhi does actually have an interpretation of Beato in her mind, and like the Beato we see in that scenes is partially what Natsuhi imagines Beato to be in her delusions. I think like Renove and Virgilia and the Seven Sisters are just story flourish. Like Natsuhi didn't see Saya's sketches.
Yeah.
because on
Yeah, no, I don't believe that she did.
On a meta world level, it would be very confusing to create new fantasy characters for characters that already like have fantasy characters for them. Like it would just get very convoluted and confusing. So it's basically shorthand for this is the secret fantasy culprit-y version of this character.
You know what this reminds me of? All these different like piece versions and real versions of every character. Is there is a line where Battler says, no, it's not. I'm not sure it's Battler, but the narration says if all of the pieces like come up here and it's like 38 or whatever. I don't remember. And like it says if you add up the pieces from previous games, it would be even more. And for a second, I was like, oh, are they talking about the characters like from Angie's future or like the other characters? Like, because those are the only characters I could think of that didn't appear here. But now he realized it uses the word piece. So it's talking about every other version of all of the human characters that appeared in every other game before this, who are all individual characters with their own, like, lives.
Yeah, I think that's what I also interpret the scene to be. Like, the phrase to be.
So Umineko has literally hundreds of characters.
There are also pieces that didn't show up, like Avatrice, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But reading it back to Vergeria, knowing the right truth about how Natsuhi isn't the culprit. So we've established that the Beata we see on the court is Beapice or Beapice. So like since she's that version, she doesn't have meta world information, unlike Granova and Vergeria. But even so, if Vergeria is using the right truth, like does this mean she solved EP5 and that's how she has the right truth?
She's involved in EP5 is the thing, because Virgilia, like as a meta piece, is also, you know, Kumasawa, and everyone on the game board is involved in the conspiracy of framing Natsuhi, but also like not framing Natsuhi.
Yeah.
Because I talked before about the layers that I think are going on in episode 5, where like each person is agreeing to this facade, but like it like keeps going up and like the reasoning why they're doing it and getting a little more fucked up.
Yeah, and also I'm kind of dumb because if Vergeria is seeing the same shit we are, she knows Natsuhi isn't the culprit simply because she's been seeing the same scenes we have. So yeah. And
she was also involved in, like, protecting Natsuhi. Like, she knows for a fact that Natsuhi didn't move the bodies because she knows the bodies weren't dead, and she knows, you know, they weren't killed because they weren't dead, because she was involved with that whole conspiracy, and talked to, like, Gap and Renove about that, in order to help Natsuhi out. Like, moving the bodies, like, telling the cousins to, like, go move and hide somewhere else was a way to protect Natsuhi, because Natsuhi was with everyone else at the time, so the bodies couldn't have been moved. But then Natsuhi ran ahead of everyone else a little bit because she was panicking.
God, I think it's next episode that... what do you guys think? Do we like discuss our EP5 theories next episode, or the episode of the Secret Tea Party and Tea Party?
I want to talk about something that happens in this chapter that does require we talk about EP5. But I'm fine if we, like...
No, I'm asking, like, full theories of, like, logistics, who did what at what time. When do we want to discuss that? Next episode? That's,
next
like,
episode.
The end of the main EP5 stuff? Or only after the Tea Party and Secret Tea Party?
Not this episode.
Whatever chapter has, the Damida. Zen Damida. Whatever chapter ends with that, and then it's the last scene of EP5 on the board that we see.
I think that's next episode. Let me check.
Episode.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think it's in Revenge from 19 years ago, like after Natsuhi tells people about her diary.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to talk about it.
Yep, that's correct. Okay, then bring your complete theories next episode.
I'm so excited.
Yep. I want to talk about something that I'm talking a lot about how AP5 confuses me this episode.
It's confusing.
But
we're all on the same boat.
Yeah. So this is a 24-hour... I literally read it as 24-hour answer session the first time because I'm a stupid American. But it is a midnight answer session.
Oh.
Is what Lambda Delta calls it. And it is a plot point that on the game board it is now midnight because she declares the body's dead at midnight. Which is when the bomb goes off.
Yep.
So, So, literally, my mini theory for EP5 is that nothing happened. So I just set the bomb and it went off. Like,
It could be.
But it's midnight, right? Some time passes while Erika talks about like all of the things and why Natsuhi is the only person who could do it on the game board. Because we cut back to the game board and Rudolph is like, it's conclusive then, isn't it? So she explained it to them, right? We're on the same page there. So then we have a scene of Battler and Lanner fighting, where Battler is like, Lanner is like, you can find any truth if you spend enough time searching for it. And Battler is like, I know that, but it's midnight. We only have a short time to find the truth of this game, or else the truth of what happened will fall into darkness forever. And then when they're doing that, it's cutting into the parlor, which implies that at that time at the parlor it's midnight. Which I don't think so.
Give me a headache.
It's just really strangely written.
Well, that could
when you look at it on multiple layers.
that could mean that they turned off the bomb and then someone set it up at a later time, maybe.
Wouldn't that mean that they survived to October 5th?
Yeah, I think I think the whole dealio there is it's like an EP4 thing where we're jumping through time a little bit, because the courtroom scene where Lambda proclaims it's midnight is supposed to parallel when Erika is on the game board earlier explaining to everyone why Natsuhi's the culprit, because Erika starts doing that like early like episode like 5, like pretty quick on, like close after Hideyoshi's death, when she makes the culprit proclamation, and then Lambda Delta's like, alright, we're speed running to the end of the game. This is our midnight answer session.
That's true.
So it's meant to imply that like in the meta world, like the game is wrapped up and the characters have finished the day, but we're still cutting back to when Erika's explaining to the group so we can see how they all reacted to it.
Right.
That's a great explanation.
I really wish that we got to see the rest of EP5, but I understand why we don't. Like,
I doubt anything else happens until they blow up.
there is no game in Shiru.
I'm just imagining like Sayo as Shen or Canon, like while Erika's explaining, just being like, "Bitch, shut up! I've got like a bunch more Twilights to do. Like, I'm running out of time." They're just sitting there for like 24 hours waiting for like midnight.
How are they supposed to figure out it's me?
Yeah.
The thing is, they solved the epitaph.
Oh, right, they did solve the epitaph,
Yeah.
so someone else could have flipped.
Oh yeah.
Do you think that Sayo like came to Battler like alone? It was just like, here's the bomb, and someone like overheard them.
No, because Erika and Battler both found the gold before everyone else, and we know that Sayo, like, you know, like, is there waiting for people. And I said this theory in a different episode, but my theory is Sayo explained the thing to them. It's like, I'm not gonna do it anymore. Here's the gold. Here's the bomb. And then, like, you know, Erika's like, that's a little suspicious. And then later in the day, Erika runs back there and she's like, I fucking trust this bitch to not set the bomb, and she turns it. And she sets the bomb and leaves without knowing.
Oh my god. I am actually fully on board Erika Delta.
That is very funny, but I'm pretty sure that the people whose throats are quote unquote cut do get their throats cut. I want to say there's a red truth for that, or they die before midnight at least. I want to say there's a.
They died at midnight because
they died at midnight
in EP4 Tea Party. Like, time passes. The bomb should go off at 12:01. That's how the bomb should work. Because if it's happening at midnight, but that means that like EP4 is happening at EP4 Tea Party is also happening at midnight.
Yeah.
Because that's when Angie sets it to be. So.
And that's when, like, you know, Beato's like, yeah, like right now I'm going to kill you on this island, and there's no one else here.
Which means that it doesn't go off at the stroke of midnight. It goes off at like 12:30. Like.
Yeah. Like the main reason that the witches are like, yeah, we have to, you know, like strike you down at the very end of the game, like that's why we get to wait this long, is because everyone dies at the end of the game anyway because of the bomb, which means they can like by default claim everyone is dead. And the timing thing works out.
Man, Angie picked the worst possible time to be like, we'll put this here. Well, it just makes sense.
I don't think like it's necessarily like Angie's fault, because like one, Angie doesn't know about that, and two, that's the rule of the game.
Doesn't she? Doesn't she?
She doesn't know about the bomb.
Blew up.
Oh, wait, I know you're right. You're right.
That it's set, but she knows it blew up.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So he has to know that it was set.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, you're right. She does. I forgot about that.
Angie.
Because they always just like refer to it in the future as like an accident happened. So I forget they actually know that something blew up.
They're like, oh yeah, it was a
they're like, oh, what could have possibly gone down? Like, meanwhile,
it was a gigantic gas leak that, you know, like you just accidentally left the gas stove on and then the whole place just exploded. Like it was like fucking Hindenburg, like, you know, like
the most tragic event in all of human history.
I want to say that the way EP5 happens with the epitaph is I think Battler is already an accomplice at the time that he solves the epitaph. I like, because it's kind of Erica who like drives it along with him, and like to me, like the setting of the bomb, like the thing with Erica is very cute. I do like that, but I think what probably is meant to be happening is that even though Battler finds the gold, that doesn't count because he's already an accomplice.
I don't think he is. I don't think he has a reason to be an accomplice at that point.
I think he's a fake accomplice.
Well, he has to be because of Kinzo, right? Like he saw Kinzo.
Oh, true. He does see Kinzo.
He sees Kinzo.
So he's a liar.
Yeah.
And only accomplices can see magic, and Battler doesn't die in half an hour. So I guess by rule Y, that makes him an accomplice.
That is true.
But everyone's an accomplice.
This is why I'm glad we're not talking about all of our episode 5 theories today, because I have no idea what I think about it yet.
Do you want to say one thing about Erica Delta? I just use blank Delta as they set the bomb, because certainty. Just clarifying, but a less cute interpretation would be like Erica just fantasizing about the idea that like she could turn this murder game that's been going on into like something that will be talked about like forever, pretty much.
And then she doesn't get remembered.
Become the detective in the greatest mystery of all time, and sets the bomb.
Or it could be Byrne. Byrne made her do it, because otherwise Lambda Delta couldn't say the red truce at the end, so they could frame Natsuhi for killing people.
But Your Honor, the witch made me do it.
That would be such a meta way of Erika losing her detective's authority for EP5 is because she broke the rules of the detective to not kill anyone.
I forgot the detective can't be the culprit.
She didn't do it, it was the bomb. Fuck,
that's not how that works. Erica Delta goes down the drain. Wait, if everyone was dead, the detective has the right to commit suicide, right? If everyone else is already dead, then Erica can still set the bomb?
She has to, like, make a run for it to be the first to explode.
Okay, but if it's an accident, that's not active culpritism. Hence why my theory of her not thinking about it.
But accidents aren't allowed to be employed as a detective agency.
But that's as a detective agency, not as like
in discovering the culprit.
I know. No dogs barking or cigarette butts.
Do we mind if I change the subject a bit?
No, go for it.
Well, there is a line that confuses me, and it's something that actually comes out a couple times, which is why I moved it to the spoiler section instead of talking about it in non-spoilers, is there's a line that says, let me find it, where Berncastle refers... Oh, let's see, what did I write in my notes? Did Beatrice invent the red truth? Byrne says that she was the one who made the rule about red truth being truth that doesn't need evidence. Did Beatrice invent it, or did it exist before Umineko, like, happens? Because, I mean... the Great Court of Heaven uses it all the time, red and blue truth.
Oh.
is it like...
Oh, that's messed up.
Is it
That's
like
true.
a paradox space situation where like everything happens all at once, so things in the future could be in the past as well?
I think Eisenjungfrau is also Cyozoses, and so that makes it work. Like,
But is Will...
Yeah, like
Yeah, I mean,
but I'm not so sure. Will's not, though.
in episode 7, we see Willard use the red truth in a case that is unrelated to Umineko.
Yeah.
shit.
Maybe...
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. And that's also where we learned that the Courts of Heaven use it, too.
Yeah, so I think it might be a thing because Berncastel can command, you know, people from Eisenjungfrau. Like those are her pieces that she summoned for Erica to use. So I think that Berncastel might have some ranking in heaven, possibly due to feathering connections.
Is the Senate in heaven? I'm not sure.
No,
I think-
the Senate is the witches.
Senate's all witches.
Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense for... Yeah.
But I think that witches have domain over both heaven and hell. Because Beato and Virgilia and those folks have, like, hell creatures and demons in their ranks that they command. Meanwhile, like, Berncastel uses, like, you know, angels from heaven to do her thing. So I think... And also Virgilia also has heaven connections. She does a little bit of both.
I like to think that witches are
True.
like... It's like a corrupt cop situation where witches are running the Witch Hunter Association from the inside.
It's just. I think it's just that it's literally the same thing, but because witches live in the darkness and stuff, like they have like the hell connotation, whilst the mystery side has the heaven connotation. It's literally the same thing, but like with different themes, I guess.
It could be possible they use creatures from heaven and hell so easily and so often because it is Umineko canon that the Bible is a common grimoire that many people use for magical purposes, and so I think they just borrowed the magic from the book TM.
The red and blue truth originates from the Bible, and because Beatrice read her Bible... she's the character who introduces it to everyone else, and Byrne does not read her Bible, so that's why she's like, "Oh, you invented it, right?
Write the Bible?
You wrote it. You wrote that rule."
For what it's worth, Umineko is the best fanfic of the best Bible fanfic Dante's
The
involved.
miracle that Jesus rose on the third day.
So answering the question, like, why does Beato say, or why does Byrne get to say Beato made the rule? I think, like, my interpretation is that, like, red truth normally has to be based on something. Like, so the Court of Heaven can use it because it's based on the Nox Decalogue, and Will can use it because it's based on the Van Dyne, and that's kinds of evidence. And what Byrne says is, Beato made the rule, you can make red truth without evidence, which I don't think is actually true, because we've said before, like, retroactively, it appears that all of Beato's red truths were, like, based on the Nox or the Van Dyne. But she didn't bother explaining that. She just said, red truth.
I really love that interpretation.
Well,
Yeah.
all her red truths are based on Nox because that's the material Butler gives her. Because she can say red truths about anything. She just so happens to only say red truths that can relate to Nox because Butler's arguments can all be cut down by Nox. It's just a coincidence.
I think I misunderstood what you were asking earlier. I think the reason Berncastel is able to say that Beato created that rule is because she's the one who made it a viable technique in the game in episode 2. Like, she didn't invent the red truth, she invented the rule that she can use red truth in her game, and it's like as evidence that it doesn't need to be proven so that Battler her could play the game. She added the rule to the game, she invented that.
That's a great
That
point.
phrasing does line up with the quote.
Yeah, because later at the end of episode 7, Byrne again says, "It'd be boring if I said it normally. I'll use Beato's rules and say it in red." So I think that all does line up, and I really love those interpretations. That Beatrice added the rule that you can use the red truth here without any base, and it's like something you have to turn on and off when you're starting a game. Like, you leave on the default Minecraft settings as, "Oh shoot, I accidentally left on the red truth."
I accidentally left on auto jump.
Yeah, that's why Will can use it in other games, is because the red and blue truth is like allowed there. but not in all mysteries.
Because the red truth the courts use is always based off, like, you know, like Knox and Van Dien. Like, they reference that exclusively, and they can only, like, use truths related to that, or, like, cold hard facts in the case that are based off of things, like the duct tape seals. Like, they have to have proof, like, in order to, like, say the red truths. So, in terms
this window was never opened after it started raining. There's no proof behind that.
Because Lambda Delta gave them the red truths, because she has the power to use red truths without proof.
That's true. Lambda did give them that. Yep,
Yeah.
okay, you're right.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Delanner's weapon lore, because it feels relevant here. Because her blue longsword that uses the blue
short sword,
she could just use whatever. Blue short sword, yeah, you're right. That she can just kind of use that whenever. Because it's blue truth, and it has, as they call it, like, very light, what do they call? Concept negation, like magnitude or something. Like, but the red longsword has to be, like, you have to, like, call down an orbital strike from heaven to, like, be able to use it. And so, like, I'm not sure. Maybe it's like, oh, well, heaven follows mystery rules, like, very strictly, and so she could use it for other things, maybe, but she only has authorization to use it for like things that are definitely in the Decalogue.
Yeah, that makes sense. And, like, there are other divisions of heaven that probably relate to other concepts that Ryukishi probably didn't even imagine, that they have their own ways of using the red truth. Like, I like to think there's a heaven department exclusively for the detectives authority.
Alternate theory, they've always had red and blue truth, but Beato invented colouring them red and blue, and we know the game is really popular outside of the Game Boy, like, people know about it. People, like Will was like, oh, that's a really good idea, so he started colouring all his, like, red and blue truths red and blue.
That's really good, because...
What an influencer, Beato.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, that technically doesn't work, because it wouldn't make sense for Will to go to that job. But maybe it would. Like, he reads Umineko at Burns' instructions, and then he has to go quickly, like, wrap up this case with this poor servant about to be accused, and then he's like, oh, okay, well, now time to go to Rokenjima.
I just imagine it being, like, something that's trending on Witch Twitter, and, like, Will's still got, like, old work connections that, like, he just sees it, and he's, like, having his morning cup of coffee, and he, like, turns on Witch Twitter, and he's like, oh, red and blue truth, okay.
New life hack, color your truths.
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea of Will having, like, black and white truth.
Oh, those are both such good interpretations of these lines that really confused me. And now the challenge is deciding which headcanon to follow.
Yeah.
It's a cat box. As long as they're all viable, just go with all of them.
It's the Umineko experience.
just choose which one you're feeling on a whim on random days.
Well, if I have a question, like,
Yeah.
Like 2 minutes ago you said Van Dien, and now I'm asking myself, is, like, Van Dien the actual true way to say it, and I've just been saying Van Dine because that's how they read it with a Japanese accent?
I say Van Dyne.
I may have mispronounced it, but I think it's Van Dyne. I've heard it both ways, so I feel like I switch on how I pronounce things if I've heard it pronounced in multiple ways. It depends on the vibe.
I think it's Willard H. Right?
It's a cat box.
What does the SS in SS Van Dyne stand for?
Steamship?
Like,
ultra rare.
ultra rare. Okay. Steamship.
Is that what SS stands for on ships? Holy shit.
Yeah, that's if it's USS, yeah.
Holy SS.
I thought for, like, USS it was like United States ship or something.
Wait, I can't think of any examples of an actual SS something.
Remember the funniest improv gag that I did was, what's a ship that should not be named this? The USS.
Yeah.
And my answer was just R.
No, it does stand for steamship. Van Dyne took.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Van Dyne took his pseudonym from the abbreviation of steamship in Van Dyne, which was an old family name.
Wow.
What?
Van Dyne lore.
So he is literally steamship Van Dyne.
So he is a boat.
He is a boat, and that's why Will is freaking takes his family boat.
Is that why Will has a fucking anchor?
Oh my god.
Because it's
Oh.
a steamship. What?
Oh my gosh, it runs so deep.
That's why he has an anchor
Yeah.
on his neck. What the fuck?
Whoa.
Oh.
It's a reference to SS Van Dyne.
Oh my god. It has war.
Yeah.
The necklace has war. I cannot believe
Ryukishi
it.
at making design choices that aren't just completely random, out of pocket bullshit. No way.
That's good.
Yeah.
Where do we put Will on the drip tier list? Can we put him up a tier for that?
Hey.
Next, you're gonna tell me that there's an SS Josuke.
I want to bring up one thing real quick. I think Erica is hacking her sleep schedule with the detective's authority because she can't physically be inattentive enough to miss something, so she just stays up all night and has no consequences.
It's like
she's crazy.
instead of caffeine, she drinks detective's authority.
She succeeded her con save.
She's min-maxing her life.
That's why she's so nuts, is because she's like high on all this.
Sleep deprived as fuck. That makes so much sense.
She is, and that's
Yep.
that's why everything happens.
It makes so much
But
sense.
she does all the crazy stuff before she sleeps.
No, she's already.
Maybe
She drops in sleep deprived.
Oh, she hasn't slept for days. She hasn't slept for days. She's just living off the.
That's like her default state of existence.
Literally me.
Erica hasn't slept since she became a detective.
I don't need sleep. I need answers, but literally.
Erica dropped the detective authority in episode 5 so she could take that nap. I mean, episode 6, sorry.
That being said, shall we sign off?
Yes.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much for listening. See Cats Do Crimes. We'll catch you later. Say goodbye, everybody.
Kakite.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Ooh.